You are watching Zu viel Hitze.
Hey ladies, hey fellas, hey people who don't give a f***.
Connect me to hell.
And sure, the channel is called Zu viel Hitze, but how much Hitze is actually Zu viel Hitze? Let me tell you, it is the current heat wave that is, let me check, all over the f***ing world. At any case, to relieve you a little bit and maybe distract you, I am here to present to you 6 tracks that you should blast while you are stuck in this f***ing heat wave. Now, coming through at number 1, we have ALVVAYS. It is, of course, the Twee and Jangle and Dream Pop outfit based in Toronto, Canada. They are the prime candidates for summer songs, honestly. I feel like they really have cracked the code to write the perfect mid to late summer jam. They currently have 2 records available. They have their self-titled from 2014 and they have Antisocialites from 2017. And now they've recently just announced, finally, a new record for 2022, which is going to be called Blue Ref, and it's gonna be out this October. Now, the single I want to focus on, and really, I could pick any single by ALVVAYS because they all have this summer vibe, at least in my opinion. The one that I want to focus on this video that I want you to listen to is Archie, Marry Me. It is their second single from their first record. And let's just take a look at those beautiful, beautiful mellow lyrics. We spend our days locked inside a room, content inside a bubble, and in the nighttime we go out and scour the streets for trouble. And honestly, the lyrics are simple but yet very effective. They really paint a nice picture of summer romance, the feeling of just wanting to stay inside when the heat wave is really getting to you. You just want to stay inside, stay cool, maybe watch a movie, and then when you have those beautiful and mellow and lush summer nights, you go out and, as the track says, scour the streets for trouble. So Archie, Marry Me is a beautiful, beautiful ode to summer love, to a summer love that hopefully survives all the heat and all the bug bites and maybe also all the ice cream stains you get on your shirt that will inevitably happen during a heat wave like this. And maybe it's a love that can even transition to an autumn or winter romance. But for that, we'll have to look at different songs. Now, coming up at number 2, we have a song in German. It is by CAMORA, an Austrian hip-hop artist, and BONEZ MC, a German hip-hop artist from the 187er Straßenbande. Now, both of those artists have already independently released plenty of records before they started to collaborate in 2016, and now they have their third collaborative project on the way in 2022. It's gonna be called Plastik 3, which of course means that the other records are also called Plastik 1 and Plastik 2 respectively. Now, I want to add a disclaimer. Neither CAMORA nor BONEZ MC or the Straßenbande are artists that I would really recommend, because they are just turbo misogynistic, and you know, and that's just like the tip of the iceberg. There are plenty of things wrong with them, and the lyrics are usually pretty shit. However, I was surprised when I, for fun, decided to listen to Plastik, and I ended up really liking it. It is a fantastic dancehall record. I've heard it described as Kartoffel dancehall, which is pretty accurate if you ask me. The song that I want to focus on, and once again, just like with ALVVAYS, all of those tracks have a summer vibe to them. Even the record title implies it, right? Plastik, which was, according to BONEZ, picked because the Palmen that they get in Germany, of course, due to the climate, are mostly made out of plastic. But who knows, with the current, you know, global warming and whatnot, we're gonna get real Palmen in Germany pretty fucking soon anyway. At any rate, The single I want to focus on here is actually the first single of the first Palmen aus Plastik record, which is coincidentally also called Palmen aus Plastik. Just, you know, for your own sanity, maybe don't pay too much attention to the lyric, because while the real misogynistic shit is on the rest of the tracks on this record, they definitely drop ihr Fotzen, which means cut in German, and aus Silikon sind die Bräute, which is kind of a bit of body shaming, but you know, you can't have it all, right? Just, you're probably not gonna understand the lyrics anyway, because you probably don't speak German. And in that case, that's for the better. Anyway, while I'm nitpicking with those ass lines, I also want to highlight one that I actually find pretty amusing. Die Sonne macht die Haut braun wie Nesquik, which means their skin is turning as brown as cacao powder. Which honestly is kind of hilarious in that context, because when I listen to this record, I'm never quite sure if they actually are like tongue-in-cheek or if they take themselves really serious. I can't quite decide, but I guess that's something like a common occurrence in German hip-hop. And if you really don't want to expose yourself to those toxic waste lyrics, you can actually listen to the instrumental version of the track, because blessed be, there is actually the instrumental version of the whole record on Spotify. So maybe save yourself the headache and just listen to the instrumental version instead. As I already said, it is, in my opinion, great Afro trap and dancehall that you probably don't want to miss out on. Coming up at number 3, we have the German hip-hop extravaganza HAIYTI. And yeah, this track once again is gonna be in German. However, there are so many random Italian words in this track that you will probably not have a hard time understanding it. HAIYTI made herself popular around 2015 by self-releasing a record that didn't quite cut it. But after that, she kept on releasing things, and honestly, she really picked up her quality. And I'm not gonna lie, there are a lot of HAIYTI projects. Like, she has 7 studio records, she has a bunch of mixtapes, she has even more EPs. So if after this track you feel like listening to more HAIYTI, you can check out Follow Mich Nicht, her 2017 mixtape, but any of her EPs are also a good starting point. The song that I want to focus on right now is Italiano from her 2017 EP, White Girl mit Luga. Now, HAIYTI's style of hip-hop is quite unique. It is somewhere between Dirty South and Memphis rap, horrorcore adjacent, 3-6 Mafia, but on the other hand, cloud and more mellow forms of hip-hop. Furthermore, her delivery is also quite unique. She is somewhere in between very serious and calm voice or hyper distortion auto-tune that sounds like an e-guitar sometimes. She actually has a track where she uses her voice as almost like an e-guitar. It is called I'm Pretty But I'm Loco, so check that one out if that sounds interesting to you at all. Now back to Italiano. It's a very laid-back mid-tempo beat. It has a rather relaxed HAIYTI talking over it, just throwing out as many Italian words as she can fit into the song, and surprisingly enough, the lyrics mostly make sense. The hook is kinda stupid, but also a lot of fun at the same time. Ein bisschen Italiano, was soll ich in Monte Carlo, mein Dress ist von Giuliano. And then repeat Giuliano ad nauseam. And the lead melody behind that beat, da-da-da-dum, da-da-da-dum, just never leaves after you first heard it. And coming up at number 4, we have a recent track by King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. Now, an introduction to King Gizzard would probably fill its own video, and maybe I'm gonna do that at one point. I'm actually thinking about Discog deep dives. That being said, King Gizzard is an Australian psychedelic and progressive rock and sometimes pop outfit that sometimes releases up to 5 records per year. And this year they released the absolutely fantastic Omnium Gatherum. And of course, you already know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Magenta Mountain. It is a 6-minute long psychedelic rock and or pop song that just oozes the energy of hiding in the shadow, sitting out a hot day, laying back and maybe looking through a kaleidoscope, maybe watching Holy Mountain or El Topo, maybe having some kind of psychedelic experience, while this track is the soundtrack to it all. I would without a doubt put it right next to Penny Lane or Good Vibrations in the summer, sunny, feel good but maybe not feel so good psychedelic pop song list. And at number 5 we have Canada's most beloved and, in my opinion, rightfully so, indie rock band, Arcade Fire. And more specifically, I'm talking about the lead single of the third record, The Suburbs, which is also called The Suburbs. So can you understand that I want a daughter while I'm still young? I want to hold her hand and show her some beauty before the damage is done. But if it's too much to ask, then send me a son under the overpass. The parking lot, we're still waiting. It's already passed. So move your feet from hot pavement and into the grass. We have a sprawling 5-minute indie and art rock epic that deals with motives of childhood, of fear of moving on, of change, of forgetting your past, and of the uncertainty of the future, which is something that we probably can all relate to right now. And on top of that, it's just a fantastic summer jam. Maybe it's not for a beach party, and maybe it's not for a night out, hopping from club to club and enjoying the somewhat cooler but still warm air of the night. But it is for just laying back, maybe watching the sunset or the afternoon sun, hearing the children play in a yard or on the street, and just thinking about what has happened and what will happen. And through that thought process, maybe anchor yourself in the here and now, no matter how hard that might be. That got more reflective than I actually wanted it to be, but you know, this song really invokes a lot of feelings. It is really, really good. If you listen to one song of this list, make it this one. And last but not least, at number 6 we have the Californian pop-punk jesters Green Day. They enjoyed a sprawling career and explosive popularities in the 90s with classics such as Curlplunk, Dookie and Insomniac. And they somehow managed to transport all that momentum from the 90s, with a couple of hiccups on the way, granted, all the way to the 2000s. And when the music industry thought Green Day were past their prime, they come out with probably the most popular record to date, American Idiot, and probably also my favorite record by them. It is almost something I would call progressive pop punk, if such a thing can exist, with those two phenomenally long and creative numbers, Jesus of Suburbia and Homecoming, which each have 5 sections to the song. They are so good, but actually those are not the songs that I want to focus on in this list. I want to focus on my favorite track of that record, and probably my favorite Green Day track of them all, which is Letterbomb. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this is actually the first track on this list that was not released as a single. It was, however, released as a B-side on the Boulevard of Broken Dream single, but only as a live version. So if you want to count that, sure. While the lyrics are not the most thought-provoking in the world, and maybe are not very related to summer, I believe the track overall has a summer vibe to it. Maybe in the same reflective way that the Suburbs have it, but I would also argue that the whole record, the whole American Idiot record, has a early to late summer vibe to it, maybe with What's Her Name and Wake Me Up When September Ends already reaching into autumn territory. Letterbomb, however, is, in my opinion, clearly still situated in the summer. It's about coming down from a high, coming down from, you know, those really hot and fun and fast days you live through July and August, and then maybe when September begins you start to realize there are some things that you left along the way, or there are some things that you brought that already want to leave. I mean, after all, Letterbomb is about breaking up, but breaking up with a part of yourself. You're not the Jesus of Suburbia. The Saint Jimmy is a figment of your father's rage and your mother's love. There is a narrative arc that goes through American Idiot. And I would argue Letterbomb is the point where it goes downhill. Up to this point, it's mostly euphoric, maybe sometimes a little bit thoughtful, like, are we waiting? But mostly euphoric. But from Letterbomb onwards, you have Wake Me Up When September Ends, Homecoming, and What's Her Name. All songs about leaving, about breaking up, about moving on. And Letterbomb is the exact point where this happens. It is almost like the quintessential summer night track when you realize there's autumn in the air. Change is coming. And I kind of feel like I'm repeating myself, but it really does give me similar vibes to what I experience with the Suburbs. So if you want a quintessential late summer Green Day track, go listen to Letterbomb. Now I'm gonna call it here. Those were 6 tracks to listen to in the brooding summer heat. But oh, what is that? Another trap card! That's right, we are going to milk this joke to the end. At any rate, I'm gonna tell you all about a super secret, super good 7th track. Now, this one is a special one because, unlike the other tracks on this list, it is not very popular. So, you can show off with it. Get some of that music cred points with your patrician friends. That's something they won't find on Pitchfork for sure. Now, I'm talking about an Austrian band. They are called SHALLIG. They play indie folk with a hint of folk rock and comedy rock. Their lyrics are in German, as you probably guessed. But as a German speaker, let me tell you, they are pretty funny, usually. I would describe them as something like Bright Eyes or Neutral Milk Hotel for people who aren't clinically depressed. Now that might be a big statement, but honestly, don't knock it until you've tried it. The track that I want to recommend today is Hexenjagd, which translates to witch hunt. And it is quite literally about ignorance and bigotry and hunting for witches. But the lush and mellow and upbeat instrumentation betrays the gravity and, quite frankly, the disgusting contents of the lyrics. I mean, not that they are graphic or anything, but the depiction, especially in this day and age, is honestly kind of horrifying. So if you want to have some up-to-date satire that is painfully accurate, but at the same time still enjoy your summer jams, because, let's be honest, it's in German, it's not like any of your friends are gonna understand it, definitely give this track a listen. That was Hexenjagd by SHALLIG. Now, no more trap cards, that's actually it. I presented you 6 + 1 tracks that you should listen to in this awful, awful, awful heat wave. Stay cool, stay hydrated. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want with this video. Thank you for watching. That was Zu viel Hitze.